G'day everyone, welcome to the Morning Line on this Wednesday. It's great to have your company. Hope we find you well. Big show coming up this morning. We're about to chat to Siena Grima, a star apprentice in some great form who makes her way down the highway to ride for Chris Waller later this afternoon on the Randwick Kensington program. We're going to take a look at the futures market for the Group 1 Metropolitan coming up a little later on in the spring, see if we can identify a couple of horses in the market who might be over the odds at this stage. And then Brad Davidson will join us as well for his midweek mail across both Sydney and Melbourne. But as I mentioned, Siena Grima joins us on the show this morning. She's been very kind to give us some time because it is a busy day for her, and I'm assuming a big day too, a bit of a momentous one in her riding career so far. Siena said good morning to you. Would that kind of be correct? Is this maybe a day when it's all said and done, win, lose or draw, perhaps, that you'll look back on pretty fondly?
Absolutely. It's been a big rush to be able to ride for Mr. Waller today, so hopefully I can get the job done.
Absolutely. We'll get to that ride a little later on, but let's go back to where it all began for you. Where did you grow up, and more importantly, how did you get around horses?
So I grew up in Kempsey. I'm a third-generation horsewoman. My grandfather got us, the family, into horses. My father used to ride. He still does. He rodeos. So I started rodeoing. I did pony club. I show jumped. I did everything. I was always a really competitive kid, loved the speed, and racing was what I always wanted to do.
So you were in horses and you mentioned the speed and racing was what you always wanted to do. Was there a sense, though, that you could have been involved in horses without becoming a jockey at some stage? I also saw that you were studying to be a vet as well. So you obviously had a few different career paths to choose from at one point.
Absolutely. My father was very against me being in the racing industry. He was always worried I was going to get really hurt. Like you said, I was going to be a vet. I thought, well, if I can't race, I was going to be sort of a vet in the racing industry, and I was going to just show jump, hopefully to the higher levels. But thankfully, I convinced him to let me start track work, and the rest is history.
And what about getting into thoroughbred racing? I read an article, it was almost a little fortuitous how it happened. Your family was selling hay to a horse trainer or something like that. How's the story of you getting into a stable?
Absolutely. So we used to sell hay. My father said to me, come on, Siena, we've got to go to the racetrack. I was just thrilled to even be near the racetrack, and I started speaking to some trainers there, and I would go on a Saturday morning, just muck out some boxes and just be able to hang around them. And it just happened at that time they had no track work riders, and my dad, being a massive softie, said, okay, you can start, but if you have one fall, that's it, you're done. And thankfully I didn't fall off for about a year, and I just didn't tell him.
That's a classic. So any time you come off, you just keep it under the bonnet so you could keep going. You started with Troy ONeal and then eventually you work your way to Mello Gorman. Tell us about that process.
Absolutely. So I met Troy through rodeoing. I've known him since I was a young girl, and when I really started to get into track work, my dad said, why don't we go up to Tamworth? We can spend a week there. Went up there, loved it, and I thought if I really want to go somewhere with this, I need to go somewhere bigger. So I moved to Tamworth, and then unfortunately things didn't work out with Troy. We're still really good friends and we talk all the time. And luckily Mel was there. She took me on. I've been with her for about 2 years now, and she's let me literally drive all over the countryside to make sure I succeed.
It's quite incredible how quickly success has come. Let's go back to your first day at the races, January 2024 at Deepwater. We couldn't even find any vision of it, to be fair. Then you have a ride a little later on at Warren, and then a ride at Corindi, which we do have vision of, only a couple of months down the track. And we'll show you winning at Corindi on Flying Banjo. But this meeting, Deepwater, etc., what kind of confidence did you go to these meetings with? Were you expecting winners to come quite quickly? Were you confident in your abilities, or were you not really sure how it was going to play out?
To be honest, I wasn't really sure at all. Thankfully, Mel put me on some really nice horses to start with. At Deepwater, I rode Duke Joint. He was a lovely horse. I'd known him. I was quite familiar with him from track work. And then I got my first winner on Jacat, trained by Ridge Wilson, another amazing horse for a 4-kilo apprentice to ride. I was extremely nervous, and I was lucky to go back-to-back on Flying Banjo.
Do you still get nervous heading to the races, whether it be perhaps today in Sydney or even just still around the country areas? Is that nerve and excitement still part of the game?
Absolutely. I think if you're not nervous to some degree, I don't know, it just mustn't be that big of a thrill. But I love it. It's something I've wanted to do every single day, and I'm so grateful I get to do it, and I love going. I still get nervous, especially if I think I can win, but I just have to have that bit of confidence in myself that I have been riding well, and I just have to apply that every time.
Success comes pretty quickly in that first year in 2024. I picked 3 big moments, which I'm sure you'd find as well were real highlights in your career. The first of them, and I've spoken to jockeys on this program before who have been riding for plenty of years, ridden plenty of city winners, and their goal is still to win their hometown cup, and that was one of your first big victories here at Kempsey.
Absolutely. It was my main goal as an apprentice, or my first main goal is I would have loved to have at least had a ride in the cup, and thankfully I got on a super horse, extra approval by Tony Ball, and he led me to victory my first ride in the cup. I was stoked. It was awesome. I had the whole family there. They all got to see it, and it was just the best day.
You mentioned you partnered with Tony Ball. His dad won the race back in 2013. That must have been a really special moment because I watched the STC coverage back, the interviews post-race. He was very emotional, obviously, with that family connection. That just adds a little bit more, and you see that in these country cups, that there is so much on the line. It's a Group 1. For connections at some stage, you know, that's the kind of feeling it is for them. Did you find that?
Oh, absolutely. I nearly cried when I won because I thought it's my first full season as an apprentice, and I managed to win the one race that I was really determined to win. It was so emotional, but I was so proud of myself for pulling it off.
Only about a month later to the day, you head to Armadale with Ring Ahoy in the Armadale Cup. This had more on the line as well because you get it, you win this, and you get to go, or you know, the horse and connections get to go to Randwick on the first Tuesday in November and contest a big dance. So there's more than just winning this cup on the day. Did you feel that kind of pressure?
Absolutely. I thought he was a really good chance. I knew he'd go back from the draw, and he carried next to no weight. I just had to sort of time my run. I had a feeling Armadale being a tricky track, they always tend to come off the turn. So I knew if I just timed it right, I could get the run, and sure enough, he definitely put it together for me that day.
On days like this, as a 2-kilo apprentice with some really big country jockeys in the room, do you kind of pinch yourself that you're given an opportunity and you're getting the support of these big trainers in these big moments to see if you could perform on that stage?
100%. I remember the first time I went and rode at Canterbury. It was my first Metro ride, and before I went out on the track and I saw Natra Willer and like Rachel King, and I was like, oh my goodness, like I look up to these people, and now I'm in a race with them, standing next to them. It's definitely an unreal sensation.
And lastly, a little earlier this year, February, the Country Championship qualifiers roll around. This is such a massive series. We're seeing it at the moment with the Kosciuszko, how much this means to country people. Top 2 across the line. All you got to do is finish top 2. And at $81, I'm pretty sure you managed to get McKeon into second.
It was an absolutely massive run from her. I just remember Joe telling me this is not her trip. She wants 1400. She's going to be uncomfortable, but you just need to ride her the whole way. And I just followed Sumo Fish around the turn. I thought, this horse is going well, I'll tack onto it. And she just kept fighting the whole way to the line. I was thrilled for Joe, and I thought if people can see me riding horses well with big odds like this, hopefully it'll take me somewhere.
When you sit back and reflect on from that moment at Deepwater in January 2024 to that Country Championships just over a year later to where you are now, let's call it a season. It's a little bit more than that, but we'll call it a season. How do you reflect on that and your start to a riding career?
I'm really grateful. I gave up everything. I've worked really hard to succeed, and showing that I can succeed, and I have been doing really well. It just makes it all the much better that I've proved to myself and to everyone else that I really can do it.
So you head to Sydney this afternoon. You've got a little bit of Metro experience, though, in the last 12 months. You've been riding Saturdays and Wednesdays a couple of times in Queensland. Here's a win on Flag Hall in some pretty famous colours, it must be said. Do you think this kind of experience in Queensland will help you for Metro riding in Sydney?
Absolutely. Riding in town compared to riding in the country is a completely different experience. It's a lot smoother. Everyone knows where they're going to land. They just land there. It's a quiet race. And in same as in when I rode Flag Hall in Queensland, for Lee, I couldn't believe I was riding for Lee in the first place. And the plan was to go forward. That didn't happen. I just bided my time. The run came and he hit the line well. But it's a really good experience to ride all over the place. It definitely broadens your horizons and gives you a bit more experience.
How'd you link up with Chris Waller? How's this connection come about that leads you to a really good opportunity this afternoon?
So Darren Beedman rang my boss, Mel O'Gorman, and then she rang me and said, there's some opportunities coming up for you. Hopefully it works out. And then I saw when she had the horse in on Saturday, Nation Changing for the Highway, I'd been put down on more felons and I nearly died. I couldn't believe that Chris Waller or Darren Beedman even knew who I was. Unfortunately, the meeting got called off due to the rain, but I'm more than grateful to have the experience to go again today.
So More Felons was originally set to go around again this afternoon. They're taking it out. You've left with the one ride. We'll take a look at the market for this race coming up this afternoon. It is race number 3 and it's the favourite. So they certainly haven't chucked you on at the back end of the market just to give you some experience. This is a real good test. Tazima is the $2.70 favourite. It's the horse you ride. Here it is, running at Warwick Farm only recently. In good form this preparation. What are your thoughts about this horse heading into today?
I'm really looking forward to him today. He's down in grade. He comes in really well with the weights. He's third up. He's fit. He doesn't seem to mind the wet track as seen here at Warwick Farm. So hopefully today, if I can get the first half of the race right, try not to use as much fuel, he'll definitely finish off well.
Is there anyone in the jockey room you've reached out to for support, for guidance? Do you try and model yourself off any of the senior riders? Because when you walk into that room this afternoon, as you mentioned earlier, there's big names there. There's J-Mac and Co in the boys' room. You've got Rachel King, etc., usually in the girls' room as well.
Absolutely. I've spoken to Rachel. She's absolutely lovely. I find I talk to Alicia Collett a lot. She's always been super welcoming, and anytime I ever have any questions of what could I have done better or should I have done this instead, she's more than willing to give me tips and pointers. And she's the one who originally told me, like, I definitely think you should go to Sydney and give it a crack. So today is definitely one of those times where I can hopefully show what I can do.
Just lastly, before we let you get back on the road and get to Sydney, if I spoke to you again in 12 months' time, what's your goals? What does the next calendar season look like for Siena Grima?
I would definitely hope to be riding in the city and provincials a lot more. I have no claim in the country, but I'm more than happy to come and ride. I've had a lot of trainers support me and I'd love to support them back. So hopefully in 12 months' time, I'm top of the premiership in the provincials at minimum.
Okay, I like it. Good goals. Lastly, what race do you want to win in your career? Can be anywhere, here, abroad, doesn't matter. Could be any race. Could be a country cup again. Could be a second Kempsey Cup. What's the one you want to have on the mantelpiece?
I would definitely love to win an Everest one day and the Melbourne Cup. Melbourne Cup's always been my goal ever since I was a little girl and found out about horse racing. So either one of them, I'd be more than happy to win.
I agree, so would I. Hey, best of luck this afternoon. Can't wait to see what this next 12 months holds in store for you in the riding ranks. And I'm sure you'll make the most of every opportunity you're given. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Siena Grima there with her story in the saddle so far. Goes around this afternoon for Chris Waller in race 3 on the Randwick Kensington program, that favourite. Keen to see how she goes this afternoon. We'll take a break here on The Morning Line.